So customary, as I would have started off in last class session, usually like to start with a safety moment. And I just thought it fitting to see that we are doing information security to recognize that this month is actually National Cyber Security Awareness Month. And for this month, ASIS is actually doing 2 webinars. Everything is virtual, of course.
I'll do it.
Sorry? The first one, of course, is on the 19th of October, cyber incident response, common pitfalls. Again, if we go to look at my properties. So if you're going to look at the subject, it's essentially explaining that the do's and don'ts and what are the common problems or common issues that we tend to overlook and ways in which we can mitigate against it. And the second one is on the 26th of October, cybersecurity and physical security convergence. And if it is you learn anything from this class, I hope that you learn what is convergence. And I think the name of the session is self-explanatory, cybersecurity and physical security. And one of the takeaways, and again, one of the questions that you may get in your assessment later on, is what is essentially convergence? And essentially, it is a marrying of electronic and physical, or physical security and virtual, anything along that line of essentially merging in a 21st century manner. So that is convergence. And as I said, we would have read so many different meanings of convergence. And if it is you'll have the time, folks, please feel free to log on to the ASIS website. Look at the various platforms, look at the various resources that they have available to those who are members. And if you are not a member, I humbly urge you to reach out to Kenneth, reach out to Carlos or myself on how we can become a member with ASIS. So that is our security moment for tonight. Would anybody wish to share anything at all while I load up the other screen? No, I know a lot of you maybe probably want to touch on Facebook, but we'll probably table that for after session discussion. Because I think the jury is still out if it's a DDoS attack or a server malfunction. So, Kenneth, I don't know if it is you have anything else.
No, I just thought the whole thing with Facebook was quite timely with the Senate hearings yesterday.
Yes, yeah. But I don't have any Nero suits at my disposal. But that is actually something fitting. I don't know if Kenneth, would you like to just touch more on it while we move
what on? You had yesterday was what you had yesterday with Facebook was, well, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. These were all platforms that were very controversial during the last US election. And you had a former employee of Facebook turned whistleblower who
put a pin in that there, right? So one of the things that we have touched on in our last class is that of NDAs. Now I want to throw it out to you. What Kenneth would have just identified is that one of the members turned a whistleblower. Now this is a federal standpoint. Now this is one of the get around of an NDA. Thanks, Kenneth. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, she had what she considered to be ethical concerns about the way Facebook went about channeling information, and in essence felt that what Facebook was doing was putting profit over what they had a moral responsibility to do as an influencer in how people think. And she had to give evidence yesterday before the US Senate.
Yes.
And it was quite ironic that the day that she was supposed to start giving her evidence, for the first time ever, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp were down for about 5 hours, 6 hours.
So in what I don't want to sound like I'm singling out anybody, but Kevin Rollins, we would have identified that something would pop up, and it just happened to be so coincident that there's a federal testimony gonna be placed by a former employee of a big organization, and their network went down. Kenneth was able to link or have a suspicion that it's probably linked to that. What is it, Kevin Rollins? What will be the term that we will refer to that as in information security?
Red flags.
Oh my gosh, yes. Again, Dr. Morgan Job would have said front of the class. All right, guys, so we all hear that? Red flags. So Kenneth, thanks for that. And
No problem.
we want to push on, guys. So as I was saying during our off camera off recording discussion, the method that we want to use today is, yes, we're going to review our IAP. I'm not going to ask anybody if it is you had a chance. That's okay. We're going to marry both the IAP and also chapter 1, which I find is extremely important because you won't find much of the other discussions being held in chapter 1 in all the other domains. You may find some other topics, like in chapter 2, 3, or 4, discussing other domains, but I want you all to get the foundation message of chapter 1. So we're just going to go through it briefly. Again, we're not going to spend much time on it because there are some other materials that I want to give to you after our quick assessment. Okay, guys?
Sure.
So, and again, a quick little recap for those who weren't in last class with us. We initially started the first class to talk about automation. We'd have talked about 3 trends that are shaping the security sector. And the first one is that of automation. Automation really talks to the robotics, artificial intelligence arm of what physical security has come to know now. We have touched on data privacy and protection, and it is just so ironic that the incident that happened day before. And then we'll talk about security convergence. And you can't talk about security convergence without talking foresight and preparation, without talking marine cybersecurity and physical security. So, and one of the other aspect of security convergence that we'll touch on that I want to drive home is the aspect of realigning your security reporting chain or your role in reporting. So gone are the days we want to say that security reports into a supervisor, and then that supervisor reports to a manager, and that manager reports into another manager or a VP. No, what we're saying, you are a CPP 2B, and you have to start speaking in language. Security, CSO, company security officer, which is highest rank in a civilian sphere, must report the highest level of the company, be it your vice president, be it your general manager, be it your CEO, be it whichever C-suite that is held accountable. Because just like the OSHA Act, just like the EMA Act, and most of you who here from the port facilities, the owner operator is the one who is held accountable. The owner of the operator is the one who will have to wear silver bracelets if there's any issue or malfeasance on the port or negligence on the port on his or her behalf. All right, guys, so recap, yes?
Kevin, there's this box here, this dial-up, this box that is blocking some of the information on the screen here, on the PowerPoint presentation.
I'm sorry, left-hand side, right-hand side?
This meeting in the center of the screen. This meeting is being recorded by continuing, and there's this box.
You have to click OK.
Hello?
Yeah, you have to click OK. All right, so we're just going to, so again, if it is you have both documents on the side of you, if you have the IAP on the side of you, again, it would have been the first email that I sent to you, one of the documents, one of the 4 or 5 documents in there. Please take a look at it on your own time. But we want to focus on chapter 1. Again, we are going speeding through, right, guys? Speeding through, because we want to give time to talk about the exam. We want to give time to talk about the assessment. Sorry, not the exam, the assessment, and just give you time to get familiar and comfortable in how to do ASIS assessment. Okay. So one of the things that I recognize in the history of espionage, and if you're going to look at the first page, we'll talk about what Sons would have spoken about, how we label spies. That's good, all well and good. One of the key takeaways is reverse engineering. A question can come like, what is another name for reverse engineering? And you can probably write in your book there. Another name is called back engineering. It's just for your knowledge, okay, guys? Again, I dislike that by PowerPoint. I just literally put this together a few hours ago. So I'm just going to skim through. If this, you're going to look through your again, you can hold on to your text, guys, because we did enough work and I don't want to bore you guys, right? Proprietary information in a company which should keep confidential. Just remember that proprietary information, any information that a company which should keep confidential. Your data, anything that is raw. If it is you have a evaluation form. If it is you have a consensus document, anything along that line, once it is data, it is in its raw form until it is only data, it is only something else until you manifest it in a different version. So we're going to just touch briefly on how it is you legalize that document and make it your own. We'll get to that as we move on. As I mentioned in my first presentation, what we are all doing here, guys, is mitigation of risk. Risk, that is our, so we are not security advisors, we are not PFSOs, we are risk mitigators. That is our function and role as security practitioners. And not only security, you could be in the field of HR, you could be any along that line. What you're doing is protecting your company from a certain type of risk. There are 7 analysis tools for how we deal with from an information asset protection standpoint. There are 7 analysis tools that deals in risk assessment. You will deal with that as you go along into the other domains, but just want to touch on it here. We will have touched on threats, and there are 3 main important threats that according to the book that you must memorize, and that is on page 5. And if it didn't highlight it before, you need to highlight it today. We're just going to delve a little more on the intentional threats, the natural and inadvertent, right, guys? So again, page 5, we're moving quickly along. And I just want you to look at on page 6, natural threats. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. Again, nothing to be overly difficult with the boy tonight. I know you all had a hard day, so we're just going to move on quickly. Intentional threats. So, and again, this is the time now I want you guys on. In the first class, your second class, I didn't ask you to unmute your mic, but this is the class now we're going to get all interactive. Okay, guys? When you hear the word intentional threat, Mr. Bass, sorry? We are on page 6.
What page is it?
Page 5, page 6, yeah. But we want to put away the book. We want to put away the book. What you could probably have is a little notebook inside of here, and it's just going to be jotting down some notes today, right? Because we delve into the book first class, second class. I know you have delved in the IAP, so we're doing a combination of that, but we're talking it now. So when you guys say intentional threat, so a man say, hey, I have an intentional threat against me. Now, Mr. Bascom, what do you think when you hear intentional threat? So looking at it from a standpoint of cyber information security, we want to look at someone who wishes to purposefully, from a tangible standpoint, purposefully take advantage of us. So we want to look at a terrorist group. That's an intentional threat. We will not plan that. And you're going to get, as you move on, you're going to get to understand what thought is and all the other aspects of terminologies that links to mens reas. So when you hear the term intentional threat,
Intentional threats.
yes,
Intentional threats is synonymous with deliberate action, deliberate threats.
beautiful, beautiful. So just give you a terrorist group. Give me another one.
Right, the criminal organizations.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, okay, good. Let's leave
You also have competition that may represent
competition. Beautiful. Riyadh, anything from you?
Intentional, deliberate, willful acts.
Right, but give me a group. So we want to identify a group. So we already does. So we identify criminal enterprise. Sorry?
As Kenneth said, competitors.
Yes. Competitors, yes. What about
you also have the most common one, which is the disgruntled employee.
Yeah, okay, all right. What about foreign governments? So what about foreign governments?
Foreign state actors, yes.
Yes. All right, guys. So again, just quickly recapping, right? So I just take some notes. So I want you all to take a look at on page 6, and again, I know you have highlighted it. It was natural threats.
36.
on page 6, natural threats. So we already dealt with the intentional. We want to deal with natural threats now. Now, one of the line items there that I did not purposefully touch on, because you're going to see that's one of the exam questions, is offsite. If it is, you're going to look at the third line. Again, I know that I would have asked you all not to dive into a book right now, but again, just on your copybook or your notebook or your notepad or your iPad. I mean, I know we're 21st century. Just take a casual note inside. So on page 6, the first paragraph on a natural threat, they were spoken about off sites, warm sites, hot sites. And this is directly linked to business continuity, which is a big element of the domain, but has a major influence from this domain, which is information security. Now, I want you just to humbly take a note of it for because it's gonna be one of those reoccurring decimals again, especially when you move on to emergency management, business continuity management, or anything along that line that essentially speaks to a what if scenario. What if your company goes down? Now I know Kevin, you would know the stats. So Kevin, you are one. Kevin and Junior, you are 2 person. I'm not gonna call on, right? So offsite essentially is the definition of something that occurs of a location where it'll be used that will normally occur in the event of an emergency. I'll repeat that, right? The definition of an offsite is one that occurs or that is made at a location different from one where it will be used or where it would normally occur. So there are 3 type of locations for an event of a BCM sample, a business continuity management sample. So your company fail, you're going down. There is a second element, according to the book, called a warm site. Now the book did not give a definition, and I hope that in your own time, you go and look at the difference between offsite, warm site, and hot site. But that's why I'm here. We're going to talk about it because Junior, sorry, the gentleman who I would have called, they probably have that in their company. They work for a first-tier company. The second one is called a warm site. A warm site is a cold site. It have the equipment and it have a backup of the data, but it is not hot, which we are going to, because the data need to be loaded and configured before it could become usable. I'll repeat that. A warm site is a cold site. Gonna break it down for you. You have a stove in your kitchen, an electric stove in your kitchen, right? Now you know that if you're gonna turn the knob on, the stove could essentially work, right? But if you're gonna switch off the breaker panel and you're still gonna turn on the knob, would the stove be able to come on? The answer is no. You turn off the breaker panel. Now, if you're gonna switch back off the stove in its off position and you're gonna turn on the breaker panel, you can now have the option to turn on your stove and the element will come on. Essentially, it is along that same thinking, but I just want to give you some analogies. A loose analogy, I admit that, but I just want to just to give you some examples on where I want your mind to start. The third one is called a hot site. And a hot site is a copy of the data center, which with all your hardware and your software running concurrently with your primary site. So think of it like this. You have a UPS at home plugged on. So most of you are probably using your desktop, or you're probably using a laptop or some device that have a UPS right next to it, right? Your UPS is running right now. But let us just say that current goes, bam. What will happen is that your UPS kicks in one time because it is running. Again, probably loose analogy, but I'm just trying to drive the point home. So again, in page 6, they're under natural threats. They were spoken about hot site, cold site, and off site. They didn't dive deep into it, but it's terminologies that you will get acquainted to, accustomed to as you move on into the other domains. But because it's in chapter 1, I just felt it necessary to touch with you on it. Okay, guys?
Yep.
So one of the things that you're seeing when you're going through your book is that of we touch on data mining, and someone would have given an example of TikTok. I would have asked you all to touch. Okay, so let's moving forward. Counterfeit and piracy. I don't think whether we would have dived deep into it. Counterfeiting is any product that is used to, that intends to take the place or advantage of the established route of a already established product. The slide said it's an imitation, usually one that is made with the intent of fraudulently passing off as a genuine. Again, you have a nice Prada wallet, and you went in a store, and you. My humble apologies, guys. Everybody mean road. Just 1 second. Okay, guys. I'll hopefully be able to talk over the mic. So you go on in the $10 store, and you buy the same looking product that is called, and for $10, and it's called a counterfeit. It is terminology that you need to get accustomed to. Again, it is one of those things that we'll have asked you to highlight. One of the mixers, so one of the members here would have called me and asked me, he get out of trouble to explain what is piracy, counterfeit, what's the difference. So with counterfeit, you have the handbags, you have the clothing, you have the accessories, etc. Piracy is an act of robbery. I mean, exactly what I said there. That is the term we all know it as from the inception of piracy at sea. But we are talking information security. So we want to talk digital robbery, if you could allow that term. So one of the members here would have asked, what is the difference between counterfeiting and piracy? The term counterfeiting describes fake goods, as I mentioned. The term piracy acts like reproducing digital content without the rights or copyrights of the originator of that product. So for example, there may be, there's probably a book, and again, I know it's digital, but just for the reference purposes, there's a book, and you went and take a copy of it. It is, and pass, and you already know it is a book, and the person who accepts it knows it is a copy from the original book. It is piracy. It is not counterfeit, and that's the difference I need you all to understand. So
is that piracy or is it copyright infringement?
It is piracy, but it falls. So as we move on, you're going to get the understanding of copyright. But for the purpose of explaining the difference between counterfeiting and piracy, right, Kenneth? So you had anybody had any chance to do any research on the counterfeiting and piracy?
Right. Not fully.
Okay, no problem. Well, no worries. Well, I'll just throw it out. Again, I'm not going to single out anybody, right? So it essentially, there's piracy downloading a copy of an MP3 of Scorpion's I'm Still Loving You, right? Now you go on a P2P. Now remember the term, right? P2P means peer-to-peer. Again, we're talking information security. You go on a website, on a P2P website, and download a copy of Scorpion's Still Loving You. Beautiful song, by the way. And you know it is not your it is where you got it from, and you now go and burn it on a CD and go and sell it to someone who have great taste in music, by the way, and you make a profit out of it. That is piracy. That is not counterfeiting. That is piracy. Okay, guys. So I hope I stretch on it a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Kenneth, you good?
No, yes, you did. You did.
Okay, thanks. All right. So again, moving right along, we'll touch on due diligence. And remember, as I said, and I tried to drive the point home, due diligence is the first avenue of protection that you, as a security professional, HR professional, legal professional, accounting professional, can protect your company before engaging with any third party. It is extremely important that you exercise the necessary background checks, and I will explain that background check. There are different types, that you do some sort of deep dive or digging before you allow your business to be a part of another business. Because if you're up the creek and you're on the proverbial thing, you don't have a paddle, they're gonna ask you, well, where did you find out about this company? Where did you find out about this person? So hold on, you take that person and you brought them into your organization without doing any due diligence. As I told you, there is room for there's always room on the bus. Okay, guys? So we're moving fast along, right, guys?
Yeah.
We'll touch on physical security. As I move here and I look at legal, legal falls into what we have spoken about, which is what we dive deep in last class that we spent a little extra 5 minutes on, is the aspect of NDAs, right? Forms within all of that. But you're going to see terminologies like product. Now, what essentially is a product? As I mentioned, piracy. Piracy, you must have a product in the first place to be labeled as, you are a victim of piracy. According to the book, a product essentially is exactly what you see here. In marketing, a product is an object or system made available for consumer use. Okay, not gonna. I don't like that by PowerPoint. I'm not gonna read it out verbatim. But of course, this will be this slide here, guys, is yours. It's gonna be yours after. Copyrights. Kenneth, you were talking about copyrights. When we talk about copyrights, it's more so exclusive to work done by an author, a creator, literacy, musical works, drama, anything along that line, song recording, architecture plans, anything along that line, right? But when it is you breach that, it is you're a victim of piracy. Trademarks, guys, you're gonna hear a lot of these words, and I implore you guys, I mean, in the interest of time, I'm not gonna dive in too much into it. You're gonna see it here. Trademarks, as we know, essentially, Coco Chanel is a perfect example of what a trademark is. That brand, that name, Coco Chanel, is a trademark. A symbol could also be a trademark, which is like the arch in the McDonald's.
The apple.
Apple, that is actually wonderful. Nice, excellent. So guys, I see that we did some reading.
The swoosh on the Nike.
Sorry?
The swoosh on the Nike.
This wonderful guys. Well, and you know, as I see Nike, right? There's also another form under the book again. This you'll get this in the IAP guide. A catchphrase, you know, just like in the swoosh. Under the swoosh, you'll see "just do it." Let me ask you something, guys. You all go and create up a schooner and put "just do it" and see how much pre-action protocol letter they're gonna get. So catchphrases also makes part of a trademark. Okay, guys. So let's be cognizant of that. Okay, trade dresses, service marks. Just to put a pin in it, a service mark. Once a product is, and again, happen on what Kenneth would have spoken on our safety moment there about the federal testimony. Once a trademark, a service mark, as you would, once a service mark has a federal registry, you are going to see the R next to it, or a TM, just like the CPP. When you look at CPP, you will actually see in a circle, it means R, that means it's a service mark. There is a lot of connotations or meaning of the abbreviation CPP, Canadian Pension Program, or certify. I don't know if you guys did any homework. There is another definition of CPP, but the real registered version, and I'm not taking for it because we are CPP. The real registered CPP, it means Certified Protection Professional. So just thought I touch on that as well. Okay. Yes, sir.
One of the trade, as you was talking about trademarks and stuff, just touching back a bit. PDF.
Sorry?
PDF.
Okay. PDF, yes.
We were not able to license any vehicle PDF because that is a trademark.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. PDF.
Yeah.
That is good information. Wow, nice one. Nice. So locally as well, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. Thanks, Curtis.
But things like Xerox and Greyhound and all this.
Okay, guys. So we just touched on that's page 23.
Keron, just a correction here. I see a patient there.
Sorry?
I see the word patient.
Ah, yes. Sorry. PATENT. I will call it speed writing. Sorry, my humble apology. Wow. my daughter will be very much armed with a 50 caliber ammunition. If she see this, she would love to remind me of this era. If it is we were in a different place, we would have said you have to buy. Mr. Saracen, as you term, sir? All right, so we're moving right along from page 23, and again, we're moving in quick time. And we are looking at page 25. Aha, and we of course saw the importance as we move along from the entire book. We saw the takeaways, we saw NDA show up in so many aspects of the domain of this chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. I saw a word here that I wanted to just give a little explanation on, and which is that of fiduciary. We always hear that term, hey, you have a fiduciary responsibility. You have a fiduciary worth. But we never really get the full concept until it comes on an exam, or sorry, an assessment. So I just want to just drive this point home, the meaning of fiduciary, and it is essentially a person who has a legal or ethical relationship with trust, and that is the exact term that I want you to remember, because it's going to be one of those reoccurring questions that are going to show up in your mock assessment with us later on during the completion of this program. And trust is a word, because you're going to see different terminologies, and let that one word stand out as well, right? Typically, a fiduciary prudently takes care of money or assets for another person. So you have a hedge fund, or you have a 401k, as you probably in your external reading. That person who is holding that monies or value worth asset has a fiduciary responsibility to you, the owner of that. So it is so again, I use that analogy to drive the point, the term home of trust. Okay, guys?
Yep.
Is it similar to what we will call in layman's term a trustee?
Okay, yes. I believe Carlos would have asked that same question back when we were. Carlos, could you remember that question? Yes, sir. All right. So again, we drive the point home of NDAs.
Sorry there.
Yes, remember you were actually explaining to us, Carlos, of the term. We're talking about fiduciary, and if it does, you remember during our 6-month review of these domains, you actually brought up the word, it's a trustee. So yes, who would have asked that question?
Curtis.
Sorry?
Curtis.
Yeah, you switched on, Curtis. You switched on. Not bad at all, man. You switched on. Nice one. Nice one. You guys did some reading. Curtis, I cannot pick on you, man. All right, guys. So essentially, that wraps up the book. I know I just turned the page here with the top one TSCM, which is Technical Surveillance Monitoring. Yeah, this is the only TM physical security. You may see that is essentially if you need to sweep your office for any electronic eavesdropping material or inspection of telecommunication equipment. You have your VoIPs, voice over IP office phones. You know, you want to be able to sweep that. You have a light switch in your office. You have a plug in your office. You want to pay particular attention to those type of devices, because what a lot of people fail to recognize is that a light switch is actually running power or hot. So if it is you want to use it, it's hot power to continuously run that eavesdropping device. So if it is, you need to sweep your office for bugs professionally, again, you're talking to your ICT professional, you want to do a TSCM sweep. Let them be like, oh, you know what that means. So again, you want to pay particular attention to where you already have existing power. Okay, guys? All right. So you think we're ready to use one of the terminologies we used today? And I don't know if anybody can hit it on the head. Are you ready to rumble? That's asking anybody here, right? Is that a trade, a catch? Oh my gosh! All right, okay. I'll just give it that. But that's a catchphrase, right? So what I want to do, I am going to.
That was a guy from Vegas with a box in.
Yeah.
And
You know what?
he paid
You guys
him.
any of you guys go and see lots next week, Thursday, and you all go on Facebook Live and say, are you ready to rumble? In addition, the TTPS coming for all, yeah? You're gonna have a pre-action protocol letter from the man who created that term. And make sure and say it like how you said it, right?
Michael Buffer.
I think it's actually let's get ready to rumble.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's get ready to well.
Michael Buffer is the guy.
So
Yes,
I would
that's
have
Michael.
okay, great. Wonderful, guys. So what I want to do, I am going to stop the sharing of this, and I'm going to share with you all now the assessment, and we are just going to talk about some ground rules with the assessment, okay? It is so this is essentially how our question looks like here. So now guys, I'm just gonna Carlos, you want to pause? Could you pause the okay, I just did. So you'll have 25 questions in front of you. Now for the exam, there's approximately 30 questions will come for your ASIS assessment with the team here. And probably if it is you decide to pursue the CPP exam, which I expect you all to do as well, a big chunk of it, we recognize that it's 30 marks. Now it's 240, sorry, as you will. It's 240 minutes you have. 240 minutes you have to answer 225 questions. So give or take, it is 1 minute essentially. Give or take, it is essentially 1 minute for a question. What we are going to do here today is we're going to start your first reading on how to assess a question and stick with time. I am purposefully waiting for 8:05 for us to start. And again, I'm not going to give you all a minute per question. I'm going to give you all, so when it is 25 to 8, we're going to stop there. So when it is 8:05, I'm going to ask you all to open up your documents. Open up the document, sorry, that's in front of you. And we are going to push until 25 to 9. So that'll be a half an hour from 8:05. So everybody have the document, correct? So I want to open it up. Familiarize yourself with the reading. Mute your mic and get a pen and paper. Get a pen and paper next to you and start. Sorry, Peter.
You said mute our mics?
Yeah, you can mute your mic or come offline, but we want to start at 8:05. You can mute your mic, and we're gonna pretend like we are going to simulate like we're in an exam, doing a CPP assessment type exam, and we will do the corrections thereafter.
Okay, let me see if I can get in on open this. So we can go ahead and open.
Yes, and at 8:05 according to your clock, go ahead and start. And 25 to 9, sorry, we will do the corrections.
Okay.
All right, I just want to familiarize yourself with the format and how ASIS CPP exam questions are phrased. So please, folks, go ahead. We have 5 minutes again, all. Okay, gents. I guess this is where we say, put down your pen.
Put your pens down.
All right, guys. So
Is that sometime now?
you just sat with 5 minutes extra assessment type question. Assessment type question, sorry, 25. Roughly give or take, maybe about 30, give or take. Feedback. Taking the feedback from on top first. I'll ask Peter. Peter, what's your take on it?
Not all that difficult, but it shows that one has to read the information to really be able to understand, to be able to answer.
Thanks,
The
Peter.
questions are not all that tricky, but you have to know what you have to know.
Yeah. Curtis?
I spent too much time reading the question. I didn't finish.
Right.
I didn't finish. I have 4 more questions to do.
Right.
I think the wording of the questions is very tricky for me because in my mind, a lot of the stuff mixed up in my mind. So I have to pinpoint, the right answer based on the question. And so I spent a lot of time reading over the question. So I think I need to be a little more, a lot more reading to be done on my book.
Okay. Thanks for that, Curtis. That's a very honest response. Thanks. Kenneth?
One of the things I've noticed with ASS, and this is something that should help you, Curtis. You see, when you have lengthy or wordy questions like the first question, the first 3 words and the last 3 words is what they want to find out.
Again, everybody will have the learnings when going through mock, different mock exams. So I hear Kenneth, but I'll say, carefully read each question. Carefully.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, that one of the things in the middle, they will ask you, define a PPS that is in conformance with ISO. Now you read that, right? But really and truly, the question is, define a PPS that is not in conformance. So you read the first 3 lines, you read the last 3 lines, and you forget your brain then check the middle word.
Not.
Okay? So we all have our learnings, and each individual learning curve is different to another person. But with practice, guys, we will get there. Trust me, we will get there. Kenneth, sincerely, what was your take on the exam? Assessment?
As Peter said, it was one where you have to know, you have to read, you have to know the knowledge. And as you have said quite a few times that it tests what you have read in the book.
Right.
Having done the CPP once before, the questions are worded pretty much along the lines of how they would normally word it in the exam.
Okay, thanks, man. Riyadh, tell me something, man. How was your experience this evening?
Well, it was good. As most of the guys said, is reading is key, and understanding the different definitions and concepts.
Okay.
There's the questions are structured in a way that the answers are so close to each other.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to be very careful in how you read it as well.
Thanks for that, Riyadh. Thanks for that, man. You actually hit a real good point here. As I mentioned, 2 will be real off and 2 will be, yeah. All right, Junior, tell me something, man. How was your take on the assessment?
Hi guys. Well, I agree with my colleagues. You really need to read the document in entirety to really understand what's going on. Questions, when they're wrong, It could be confusing if it is that you know that you have all this other stuff going on in your head, but I agree with my colleagues, you have to really have to understand.
Yeah.
And the questions are very, very close, very, very close,
Yeah.
so it's very easy to misinterpret and to make a mistake, moving forward. So
yeah, indeed, Junior, they are very, very, very much close. The answers that is.
Yeah.
My brother Kevin, tell me something. What is your take in the phrasing of the question? Now, those are not my questions, but what is your take on the phrasing of it?
Well, once you took the time to you probably understand what they're asking for, the questions are not difficult, right? However, having just touched the surface of my reading, I realized that time management is an issue because I all had like 3 questions to finish with when the time is up.
Okay.
So I safely can say with more dedicated reading and understanding, the time spent on each individual question shouldn't be as long as it took for this initial test here, this initial assessment. So my areas of improvement is time management and a little more reading to grasp the questions as we see them coming. It shouldn't be too difficult for us.
And Kevin, and this goes out not only to you, but everybody here and all those who missed tonight's class. With practice, you will be able to bring down your average time from a minute to 2 minutes to less than a minute. And those less than a minute questions will assist you when you're doing when you have to do your calculations, your ROI calculations as you see in the book here. Because you're going to want to spend extra time. So you find, although you dedicate 1 minute average to each question, you're going to find yourself with practice, guys, that you're going to be able to do it in 20 or 30. All right. Thanks for that, Kevin. Mr. Bascom?
Yeah, I want to support all that have been said, because at the end of the day, what is required is reading, understanding what you read, internalizing it, and applying it to the question. I had a kind of unique challenge because when I opened up the email, a part of the question, I wasn't seeing a part of the question on my laptop there. I was trying my best to see it, but I work it out. I imagine what it was saying, and I was able to do all of them and so on and so on. But it was quite an interesting experience. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I'm so glad you raised that point that, and all this, I just using this time, we're going to go through the questions, but these are salient points that with your comments enable me to give you all feedback. You have 2 options to write the exam, guys. You can write it in the comfort of your home, or you can go to a prometric center. Now, if it is you having technical challenges, like, what Mr. Bascom just described here, it is very much unlikely to happen because you have to download a prometric software to be able to write it at home in the first place. But let us just say you experience some technical challenge that is totally out of your remit. You have no responsibility whatsoever. It is not your fault. If it is you feel connection more than 2 times during the exam, it is counted as a fail, and you will have to wait 3 months or 6, I can't remember however long, to write over the exam. I had an issue at home where I kept getting dropped off of my network when I initially wrote the exam. I initially wrote the exam early December, and thankfully, because I was able to screenshot all of my errors, I didn't have to pay for it, and I was able to write it on less than 1 month after, which was January 6th, when the US Capitol was overthrown. So, guys, it's something to consider. I know we are in the virtual world of 2021 has implemented us virtual offices at home, but something to consider for you to go and write the exam at that prometric center. So if there's any issues, it will be solely with the prometric center. Okay, guys? Thanks for that, Mr. Bascom, because you allow me to raise that point. Mr. Skeet, quickly, your take from today's assessment.
Very interesting. ran out. Actually, I did 20 of them. I had a hard time getting into my email. Took me a long time, so I had to rush. But I think I scored fairly okay, which I'll be able to determine when you supply the
Okay. All right.
codes.
No problem. And I want to say, Mr. Ski, that the purpose of this assessment, yes, I would love for you all to get 25 out of 25, but that was not the intent. The intent is to challenge you, to show you and make you sweat. To see how essentially a CPP exam assessment is.
It is intense, very intense.
The difference is, and it's going to get, the difference is that how during the exam, you're not going to have information security domain first, and they're going to baby, and then physical security after, and then bring crisis management, and then, no. It's going to be in that 225 questions. It's going to be a nice, what's the word we learned? Pillow. It's going to be a pillow of questions, but mix up all the Kalalu, yes. Sir, I left you for last. Your take?
Well, thanks. I would like to echo Riyad's sentiments. The questions are really, really close. So, you know, you find that you have to be thinking through. I mean, I haven't got the book as yet, but I've used the knowledge that I have to answer the questions as they came up. And I'm looking forward to see how I scored. I suppose as I go along, I'll catch it as I go along. But thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay, great, guys. It was really a wonderful experience for you guys. So let's without further ado. Some casting issues. So just point a note, guys, please do not get any wireless second screen, okay? Point a note. Okay, guys, so the first question here, and we want to highlight answer B. Now, to show you how simple it is, to the bottom, I would have shown you where you can go and get the appropriate response for your question. Now, in the interest of time, I was planning to probably go through each one, but I know that we have to close at 9. But if everybody's okay, we could probably go till 9:10 and latest, and until I hand you over to our chair, Carlos Neptune. Employment of service, this is question 2. Employment of services, equipment, and technical design to locate, identify, and neutralize the effectiveness of covert technical surveillance devices. It is defined for which of the following? Anybody could hazard, I guess?
Technical surveillance countermeasures.
Excellent, guys. And so you can see to the bottom again, ASIS guidelines, and we have touched last week on the different guidelines standard. ASIS guidelines for IAP, page, can you see it here, but page 8.
5.
So I just want to
5. Page.
All right, so this is how everybody would have received, because you're ASIS members, you will have this access to this document. Most of you have seen this document, Information Asset Protection.
No, I haven't.
All right, great. So,
I haven't received it.
I haven't received mine, but I'll get it shortly.
okay, no problem.
Could you resend to me, sir?
Sure, yes, we'll do. I'll put it as my closing email.
And
So let's go to page 8. 7. Okay. So could anybody read the question for me, please? Anybody?
Which one?
Second one.
Employment of services, equipment, and techniques designed to locate, identify, and neutralize the effectiveness of covert technical surveillance devices is the definition for which of the.
All right. So there were some keywords that were missing from the question, but as I would have experienced, as Carlos would have experienced, and all other CPP persons experience, it is the closest answer to the appropriate response of closest answer to the appropriate question. Okay, guys? So
Yeah.
it just goes to show you, to use your manual, review your manual from front to back. Especially, you see this guidelines? Majority of my learnings that I have shared with you, the highlight actually came from this. So, we have our plan to check out, the demo cycle. If you just go through here, you'll see for yourself. Okay, guys? So please find time to go through the document. Let's go back up this. Okay. All right. Which are the following best described who has the ultimate responsibility for protecting the organization's information assets? Okay, I'll leave Mr. Anybody else want to answer that, I guess?
Sorry, Keron, going back to 2, the answer is what? A?
A, correct.
Yes, correct. Okay.
All right. So I'm not going to read it. I'll see you that way again in the interest of time. Okay, everyone? So question 3.
You remember you said that the owner operator is the one who has to wear the bracelets. So I'm thinking that has to be the organization's leadership.
Yes.
C.
Well, you finally put any burden on the employees. All right, so it is that reading, those cross discussions that we had in the previous sessions, why Kev was able to remember that at the end of the day, the buck stops with the leader. Again, if it is a review, or just bring it home, OSHA legislation, EMA legislation, and even international, the ISPS code speaks to the owner occupier being held liable. Question 4. Let's hurt me if I get this one wrong.
C, sorry. Intentional, natural, and inadvertent.
Excellent. All right. Any answer for this? Which of the following statement is correct? Let me put our chairman on the spot here. Let me see if he can remember. The CPP learnings. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, sorry, of the ASIS San Fernando chapter, would you be able to advise what is the answer to this question?
This is the one on the board here?
Yes. Which are the
right,
four?
this is
correct.
This is C. Risk assessments should identify risks, quantify them, prioritize them according to the organization's criteria for risk acceptance. Yeah. I had to remember that one.
All right, guys. We have a man sparking still. Now, this gentleman here got the highest amongst all of us. He's very probably modest to admit. So I might call on him 1 or 2 times. All right, okay. So, all right, guys. So if it isn't going to look to the bottom here, please disregard where you're going to find this POA. This is the Kindle version, all right, to find this answer. You just need to go through your book, and I'm sending you the presentation where I would have gotten from Mr. Dennis Shep. Wonderful professional, wonderful gentleman. And you will be able to see for yourself, again, quick tips learning that you will be able to apply to your domain and for success of information security. All right, so quickly, moving along. Can anybody give me an answer here?
D.
I would say C, the IT security manager.
The originator. All right, because what we are seeing is that
originator, okay.
If it is, so there are according to the military, there's top secret. All right, so let's not use the we will essentially say that how, if it is you have an employee in the organization, that employee must know what type of level of information should be set at. So you can't just have an employee creating information willy-nilly. that employee, when that information is to go out, must be able to determine here what this information is confidential, restricted, limited, non-public. In the military, we have a different terminology for the four classification, but you will see this in the book here. But yes, the originator of the information. All right. So we're moving along. Everybody have the appropriate corrections for their questionnaire, right? So again, just take a note of your notebook and notepad or your iPad. All right. So the answer is D. All right. Access to internal company information should be restricted. Which are the following best describes who can access sensitive information?
I am suggesting D.
I would say C.
So
I remember you was only speaking about non-disclosure over and over, so that is why I said C.
Right. All right, guys. When defining protection for information systems, persons are assigned increased level of trust for access to entitled access, level of sensitive information. This is called
A.
Defense in depth. Wonderful, wonderful.
Defense in depth, yeah.
Somebody read the physical security liner, defense in depth. Yep. Wonderful, guys. All right, guys. So we're moving quickly along. I'm sorry I did not number the question. My humble apologies. All right. So this is an example of
A.
Everybody have an A? We have different responses.
A.
We have a related.
I have B.
And guys, again,
I have B. I have B also.
I have B as well.
All right. So let's see the answer, because we could probably just quickly touch on it. Why we went to the B. And again, guys, I'm not putting anyone in the spot about this one, just get your idea of thinking. So anybody.
Well, I chose B simply because you're not going to discuss sensitive information if you're in the payroll department with the janitor.
Okay.
So you're controlling what information gets out there. And it's all I need to know, but I can understand why it is defense in depth.
Guys, when I was going through it, I would have honestly gone with B. And that's why I asked the person. I really would have gone with B. I actually thought when I was reading it here, I'm an honest teacher, an honest lecturer, sorry, honest coach, and I would have gone with B, even though I would have placed this on a slide. Okay, guys. Private and personal information put into an organization, employee, management, relationship, customers, and others is often referred to as
B.
B. And we did that in the first class, guys.
Personally identifiable information.
Remember, guys, if it is somebody give you their what is the US term for their number?
Personal data.
Yeah, social security information, and you want to use that. Am I supposed to be nice to you and say, hey, that's all right, that's okay, Kenneth, you lost my information? Okay, no, I am going to take you to task. So you have a responsibility to protect my information. Sorry about that. So HR professionals, you can't have my resume. Laying on your desk for Tom, Dick, and Harry to see my personal information, right? Let's bring it back home here, guys.
Keron,
Sir?
Can I interject? What was outstanding to me here was that the question only spoke to employees, but also to customers. So C and D, the answers are C and D related to employee personal records and organization personal records, which don't speak to customers. So the answer B would be more suitable because that would encompass everybody.
Everything. Wonderful. Who said that? Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful, Peter. Yep. Because again, as an accountant, I mentioned HR, I mentioned social security number. Accounts, you have my piece, my record just showing everybody. No. So yes, Peter, I could not put it any better. It captured every single thing. Well done, Peter. Okay, guys, I know this one would have gotten a bit tricky. B? And D, somebody said?
D, trademark.
Dog.
I was shocked when I thought I could have B, but yes, that's okay, guys. That's okay. All right, so we're just gonna go.
What is it?
B.
Copyrights?
Right. And again, please, I just have a little homework to go through with you all, and just in case I forget, I know Carlos is buzzing me here. If it is, you can go to the book and get both the IAP book, the IAP guidelines, and the principal protection of assets manual, and find where the answer is and share it in the email that the one collective email address. Please, that's your homework, guys, right? Okay, going on. Trade secrets.
Yep.
All right. A process by which users identified and granted privilege.
What question are we on?
We're on slide 12.
That is question number 13.
We're on 13 now.
Everybody have the right answers for the appropriate question. Again, my humble apologies for not numbering it.
Well,
a process
the
by which,
pages are numbered, Keron, so.
no, the way the answers, these questions are, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
For
so
page 12, Keron, just to confirm, it's trade secret, right?
trade
No,
secret.
copyright.
I don't know what is, you want to read your page 12 for me?
These need not be registered with any outside agency. So that's the question you have up there. And
Okay.
I think the answer to that was C, trade secrets.
Correct.
No, B, copyright.
That's
No.
B.
That's this question. According to most international legal requirements, these do not have to be registered to be protected. Nevertheless, a person can formalize ownership through government registration, which may help in any later enforcement actions. This applies to which of the following? Copyrights.
Right, so that's question 11.
That's
That's
question.
question 11.
That's question 12.
11.
No, 11. That's question 11.
All right, so guys, Jens, I am sending this to you. So just in case we don't catch it here, you all will see it in the appropriate document attachment I sent to you, okay?
Mm-hmm. What is showing on the screen there now is question 12. And you said the answer to that was C, trade secrets?
Yes. Jens, excuse me 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that was B, copyright, to be honest.
So what is the correct answer for this? Trade secret?
Yeah.
Which one is this? These need not be registered. Yeah, trade secrets, C.
So 12 is C.
Yeah.
12 is C, yes. Trade secrets are come like Angostura. You don't register that anywhere, any agency or even KFC, the secret ingredients.
Sorry about that, everyone. Humble apology.
That's fine.
Okay, so we are on question 12, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move into question 13.
Yeah, 13.
A process by which, and we are saying the answer is
B.
B.
Tomorrow you usually book, so this was my open book exam, guys. I just saying, this was my open book exam. All right, question 14.
A.
TCP IP, eh?
Yeah. 14A.
Okay. I wanna call on our chairman again. I wanna see how much, because he was well versed in this, huh? I wanna see if it is is
It
present.
was up.
Neptune, are you there by chance?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
This answer is A, embedded system.
Now Windows based? I can't recall. I already can't recall. I know this was up your alley.
Yeah, this is embedded.
All right. all right, sir.
Yeah, this.
Yeah. All right, sir. All right. Okay. I guess you're taking trophy there. I won't call on you again. All right. Any circumstance, capabilities, action, or event which have potential to adversely impact an information system through unauthorized access, destruction, disclosure, modification of data, or denial of service is referred to as
B.
Now this one is real close, guys, because again, you see, there's a difference in understanding vulnerabilities, threat, risk, residual risk. It took me a while to catch this. In preparing for this, I was also a bit stumped, and I'll be very much honest with you because I didn't pick up my books until really preparing for these classes. Information system threat. Wow. Okay, guys. This is just one of the calculations, but there's not really any numbers here to compute it. But it just basically asks you what is X and threat by vulnerability over countermeasures equals to what?
Risk.
B.
Residual risk.
Residual risk. Residual risk.
B.
Residual risk, guys, right? So it gets a little tricky, but again, catch it now. I don't say anything, guys. Catch it now. Catch the terminologies now, and it's butter going on the road. You have to worry about other things. But catch these little small things now, guys, and I'll tell you, it's going to be smooth sailing going on the road to the other domains. The appropriate links.
E.
D.
D.
The answer.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I also know I'm going to by time, right? So
Yeah, that's all right.
This one stumped me.
I feel A.
Yeah, I had that.
wonderful, guys, wonderful.
A. That's 19.
All right.
First,
Let me see if we could. Sorry, you also this, right?
yeah.
A was the correct answer.
A was the correct answer. Detection, recovery, and compliance. It's be real close, real close, especially when you get to detection, delay, and response, which is the other domains that get so close, but keep saying it, keep singing it, and you see it just roll off your tongue.
I remember reading the table last night, but the table have four articles and only 3.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so let's see if I can. This would have been from the first class. Information system countermeasures are divided into 3 broad classifications: management policies, standards, procedures, guidelines, personal screening, and awareness training. Now, I think that one should stand out, right? Awareness training. Now, Mr. Surratt, I know you didn't have a chance to read the book thoroughly, right? But just I'm sorry to put you on the spot, right? But when you hear about the awareness training, which one out of all the answers here, you think training will deal with technical controls, physical controls, infrastructure controls, or administrative controls?
But I'll give you the truth. The truth is, I believed it was administrative controls, but I did put D.
Okay. Good. Well, wonderful. But now that you breeze through, and this for everyone here, now that you breeze through the response here, let's see what the answer is.
A.
So you see, I mean,
A.
there are technical controls in place to go and see about a man, you go and send a man for training. So things along that line, you really question real good. Everything in the middle, the beginning, middle, and end. Okay, guys? This one is where it gets a bit technical. I used to always confuse ISO 27001 and ISO 27002. So it gets a bit technical here. but we're near the end, Mr. Neptune. We are near the end, sir.
Whatever. Yeah. Sorry, I'll get a call there.
No problem. We're near the end. I know. I'm near the end. All right. So answer is.
Sorry. Yeah. You want this one from me? Oh no.
No. Just, I always had that confusion. And we go on to the final question until we take I believe three more after. Everybody had this question here, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, see.
We read this out. Last class, huh? This exact.
Yeah.
You're correct. You are correct.
This exact. I think I added an extra S. The book is missing an S.
Yes, I realize that.
Remember, the book is missing an S.
Yes.
All right. And the answer is A, I believe. A, yes.
Very good.
All right, so we are down to our last three questions. All right, so which of the following would generate disqualified information from being treated as a trade secret within a company?
B.
D.
The information has been published in a technical journal.
A.
That's correct, Kenneth. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gonna say that trade secret, right? But you're gonna post my KFC 11 herbs and spices recipe in a cooking journal and say, oh, you want to charge me if it is I go and release it? No, you already released it before. You being the owner of the information already released how to cook, the proper recipe, the proper ingredients. So once that information becomes public, you no longer have any rights or responsibility. However, if it is I take that information and I went and copy it, and I know you have it as a trace, you could take action against me and everybody else who I engage and share information with.
Keron, can I just ask a question in this regard with the trade secret?
Please, Carlos.
Yeah, we have an example in Trinidad. Anybody can name best or one of the major trade secrets?
Angostura bitters.
Yes.
Bitters.
Yeah, well said.
And do you know that those three directors cannot be in the same room or in the same plane, or the same plane together? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A technical use, guys, digital information during transmission is
D.
D.
This one was in the bank, right? Even if it didn't read, I mean, once it is, you wanted to hide your data or disguise it or however you want to phrase it. It's encryption.
Okay.
All right. And Kevin, you want to just give us a read of the last question here?
C.
I have C.
I have C.
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 All right. So what is that C from all?
C.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, guys. So guys, what I just asked as your homework, we just would have successfully completed your first CPP assessment. And I hope you get a feel as to how the questions are phrased, how it feels to be under pressure. And just remember, in the other domains going forward, it's going to be a mix. The questions going to come mixed. One physical security, one business security principles and practices, etc. One physical security, one information security going on the road. So please familiarize yourself with this document, even though you're going to go on to another domain. In what you could do, and I mean, you could take it with a pinch of salt. You could probably put down this domain after you finish. You finish with myself, and put it down, and continue the other domain. And when you see you finish everything, now pick it back up and you're gonna see we're just gonna flow. Okay, but in the interim between now and Saturday, please read through the information, please read through risk, please read through the calculation of the ROIs, please read through the patterns, please read through the trademarks, hot side, cold side, NDAs, CIA, the AAA triad, all those things are critical to your understanding going forward. Okay, folks, so your homework, I just want to ask that for your homework, you can individually email me. One, your score, just for my records. I'm not going to translate. I just want to just will be for my benefit in terms of how I move forward with another class, and also the response to any book you're going to get each of these appropriate answer, and the book being the information security text and also the information asset protect IAP guidelines as well. So, gents, I want to thank you so much. I will be given a questionnaire as well in my follow-up email to get a feedback from you all as to my performance. And I want to thank you all. You all were awesome, awesome, awesome. So I want to hand you all over to the chair. But before I do, I want to humbly ask that if it is, we could turn our cameras on and just get a screenshot. And this is for my ASIS profile, please. So as we do that, Mr. Neptune, you want to take over?
Keron, before you leave, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Is it possible that you could make available to me and some of my colleagues on the line there, because I heard them refer to the IAP guidelines? Can you remember to send it for us, please?
Yeah, and could everybody confirm getting it from me by chance?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. Okay, no problem. Okay, all right. So Mr. Bascom, I think the error would be just with us. In terms of with your email. So I think I had a Lima Echo, a Lima Yankee, and it's supposed to be a Lima Echo. So I corrected it.
All right, thank you. But there was some other person on the line. There's another colleague there who said that he wanted to get a copy also. There's someone else there who said that he also wanted to get the IAP guidelines.
Okay. I think I'm not necessary to want the books, but okay. All right, guys. So if you all could indulge me just to get your camera on, I just want to take a screenshot my ASIS profile. And what this does is that, so just as Mr. Neptune is preparing his documents here, after you have become CPP certified, things like that. So some people do it people do it for major salary. I do it to the chapter at a normal price. I just do it essentially just to get back points. So what I'll do is that what you will have to do as well when you become successful, you will have to do 200 points every 3 years. I know Kenneth or Carlos will correct me, to be able to become recertified. So sessions like this, training sessions with your churches, your temples, with your family. Once it is you do a session, make sure it is recorded. Make sure that you have a document submitted basis, and those will be the points. Otherwise, guys, if you don't do that, I'm going to give you the bad news. If you don't do that, you are going to lose your CPP credentials. And a lot of persons I know that happen to. So please, that's not going to happen to us. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
So Michael, Junior, and Carlos, you can just turn the camera. Just to get Carlos, Batiste. Junior, see me, I'm at the back of you. Junior, you see your door.
I'm trying to see how to switch this camera.
Oh, all right. Well, no worries.
That's them. All right, I'll just put it there. That's it.
Very nice. Michael, you there by chance?
Yeah, I'm here.
But I'm not seeing Michael, but he's.
Hi guys, I know so
Mr. Bascom, how are you?
I know some of you will be seeing each other for the first time. All right. I implore you guys, I implore you to keep that connectivity. Keep that connectivity. Create a WhatsApp group amongst yourselves. Part all the lecturers, do what all they have to do, but that will keep the closeness, because that closeness will help all as all they go forward into all the success as CPP persons. Keep that together and it's tight, guys. Okay. Mr. Batiste, we just want to get a.
Yes.
Your camera, you don't have a camera?
I do, but
No worries. All right, guys. So let's take a snapshot here, and I hand you over to Mr. Okay, excellent.
you get it now?
Yes, yes, wonderful. By chance, anybody seen each other for the first time?
No.
Nice.
I'm not to speak, Mr. Soon.
Number of persons I'm seeing for the first time.
A few I've seen for the first time as well.
All right. well,
Mr.
wonderful. So
Baptiste, you related to Martin Baptiste?
I thank you all so much, gents. I thank you all so much.
Michael, you're related to Martin Baptiste?
Michael.
No, are you related to Martin Baptiste?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
All right, gents. So, gents, I thank you all so much. And I mean, in the interest of time, I don't want to take up everybody else's time here. I want to hand you all over to the chairman now. I know for bandwidth, you all could feel free to take off your cameras while I hand you over to the chairman. So, thank you again, gents.
We also want to thank you immensely.
Thank
Thanks
you,
very
Keron.
much, Keron.
Definitely.
Well, gentlemen, we'll just be less than 5 minutes since we crossed the time. We are having on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mr. Hayden Defoe, CPP PCI from FCB, head of FCB Security. He will be doing background investigation and pre-employment screening. You will get that in your investigation protection of assets book. You can look to chapter 4 from page 159. So you can brief through, so it will be much easier based on your experience with Keron thing. This will help. And my other thing is to inform you that on Saturday, you will get the information as we fine tune the schedule for the rest of the program. Hopefully we can conclude that, as we are getting some of the coaches and their time and so on has been a challenge, especially some are not from Trinidad, some are from Jamaica and so on. But that is being fine tuned. I want to also urge you to join the San Fernando chapter as soon as you can. Lastly, the costs of this program, we are trying to bring it down, but we do have to pay a stipend to the Jamaican chapter members who would be doing their part. So far it's like 3,000 for the entire program, and that will go towards the chapter and paying to the members of the Jamaican chapter who has assisted us. You don't have to pay it all at once. We give you over a 3-month period, so makes it a little easier. We really wanted to donate this course, but unfortunately, it may not be so. Nonetheless, that's all for now. God blessings to you until we meet on Saturday. If anyone wants to raise anything before we close off, we could do so now. But
Saturday at 9 o'clock, Carlo?
Saturday, 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Right, and the book